What next? Sign your name. My lord? The Duke signed. Now, my lord, give me, if you have not lost it, the balfet which contained the letter. The Duke took it from under his pillow and gave it to Gremid. Gremid gave a grim smile. "Well?" asked the Duke. "Well, my lord, I sew up the paper in the ball, and you, in your game of tennis, will send the ball into the ditch. But will it not be lost?" "Oh no, there will be some one at hand to pick it up." "A gardener." Gremid nodded. "The same as yesterday." Another nod on the part of Gremid. "The Count de Rochefort." Gremid nodded the third time. "Come, now," said the Duke, "give some particulars of the plan for our escape." "That is forbidden me," said Gremid, "until the last moment. Who will be waiting for me beyond the ditch?" "I know nothing about it, my lord, but at least, if you don't want to see me turn crazy, tell what that famous pate will contain: 2 poniards, a knotted rope, and a poired zangoise." This poired zangoise was a famous gag, in the form of a pear, which, being thrust into the mouth by the aid of a spring, dilated, so as to distend the jaws to their greatest width. "Yes, I understand. My lord observes that there will be enough to go around. We shall take to ourselves the poniards and the rope," replied the Duke. "And make La Ramee eat the pear," answered Gremid. "My dear Gremid, thou speakst seldom, but when thou dost, one must do thee justice. Thy words are words of gold." Chapter XX. One of Marie Miquon's adventures. Whilst these projects were being formed by the Duc de Beaufort and Gremid, the Comte de Lawfort and the Vicomte de Bragelonne were entering Paris by the Rue du Faubourg Saint Marcel. They stopped at the sign of the Fox, in the Rue du Vieux Colombier, a tavern known for many years by Athos, and asked for 2 bedrooms. "You must dress yourself, Raoul," said Athos. "I am going to present you to some one." "To-day, monsieur?" asked the young man. "In half an hour." The young man bowed. Perhaps, not being endowed with the endurance of Athos, who seemed to be made of iron, he would have preferred a bath in the river Seine of which he had heard so much, and afterward his bed, but the Comte de Lawfort had spoken, and he had no thought but to obey. "By the way," said Athos, "take some pains with your toilet. Raoul, I want you to be approved." "I hope, sir," replied the youth, smiling, "that there's no idea of a marriage for me. You know of my engagement to Louise." Athos, in his turn, smiled also. "No, don't be alarmed, although it is to a lady that I am going to present you, and I am anxious that you should love her." The young man looked at the count with a certain uneasiness, but at a smile from Athos he was quickly reassured. "How old is she?" inquired the Vicomte de Bragelonne. "My dear Raoul, learn, once for all, that that is a question which is never asked. When you can find out a woman's age by her face, it is useless to ask it; when you cannot do so, it is indiscreet. Is she beautiful?" 16 years ago she was deemed not only the prettiest, but the most graceful woman in France. This reply reassured the Vicomte. A woman who had been a reigning beauty a year before he was born could not be the subject of any scheme for him. He retired to his toilet. When he reappeared, Athos received him with the same paternal smile as that which he had often bestowed on D'Artagnan. But a more profound tenderness for Raoul was now visibly impressed upon his face. Athos cast a glance at his feet, hands and hair, those 3 marks of race. The youth's dark hair was neatly parted and hung in curls, forming a sort of dark frame around his face, such was the fashion of the day. Gloves of grey kid, matching the hat, well displayed the form of a slender and elegant hand, whilst his boots, similar in colour to the hat and gloves, confined feet small as those of a boy 12 years old. "Come," murmured Athos, If she is not proud of him, she must be hard to please. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The two travellers proceeded to the Rue St. Dominique and stopped at the door of a magnificent hotel, surmounted with the arms of Deslignes. "'Tis here," said Athos. He entered the hotel and ascended the front steps, and addressing a footman who waited there in a grand livery, asked if the Duchess de Chevreuse was visible, and if she could receive the Comte de Lawfort.